Hello. I am so excited to be here with you again with Wisdom from Within. This is something that I started a few weeks ago, and I'm going to continue to show up here every single Wednesday for you because I am on a mission to help you remember that your body wisdom, the voice inside of you, the intuitive nudges and pulls and constant chatter is giving you information about what works for you, what doesn't, what feels aligned, what doesn't, what you need to leave, what you need to stay in. It is my mission to remind you that you have so much intelligence within you, guiding you toward everything that's right for you. And it is our job to start listening, learn how to listen, because so much of our lives, we are told to look on the outside, look at what society is presenting, look at what our friends are doing, look on social media to see what influencers or strangers are doing. But this work in this space is about coming home to ourselves, to really remember that the guidance that we're looking for is right here. Your body is speaking to you all day long, desperately trying to connect you and remind you that this voice is the voice that matters the most. And so I'm here to help you remember that through stories of my clients, my own stories, and then I invite you to join me in these conversations. If you want to share your story, if you want to talk about an experience that you had, what it was like when you did listen and what happened, what it was like when you didn't listen to your body's wisdom and what happened. We're in it for all of it. We want to awaken this voice. We want to learn how to listen to it. We want to feel inspired by it. And really, at the end of the day, learn how to trust it. So I'm here with you always. And like I said, sometimes I'll be here by myself and sometimes I'll be here with someone else having a conversation. And every week it'll be 30 minutes. I'm sensitive to time and I want you to stay through the end because I'm going to share a lot with you. And I want you to grab every single piece of what's happening here, all the information. So today I was thinking that I would share a couple stories from my clients, just real life experiences that happened recently that I was truly inspired by. And I wanted to share it with you in the hope that it might resonate for you, that you might say, oh yeah, I connect to that. What did she do? And then maybe find some inspiration or motivation around these short stories that I'm going to share. So the first one is a client of mine. It was interesting for me, honestly, because I threw out a word pretty easily around connecting to the love within us. And we can't assume that everybody knows how to do that, right? And I wasn't assuming, but I didn't really think. This is the beauty too, because I'm constantly learning and growing from the people that I'm working with. And after this meditation that I was taking her through, she said, I really struggled because I couldn't, when you said the word love, I couldn't get past it because I can't connect to love. I'm really battling with that. And then she continued to say, I wish I could. Why can't I? My friends can connect to love. All these people seem to be able to connect to love, connect to relationships, connect in this like beautiful, intimate way. And I'm just, I wish I could, And I am all about meeting you where you're at. I'm all about let's go with where you're at. Let's not look at where other people are. Let's look at where you are. Let's be honest, without shame, without judgment, just compassion and curiosity, right? We want to lean into our own stories with curiosity. So I invited her to really just be like, okay, let's forget about the other people and what everyone else is doing. Let's look within ourselves, right? Where are you really? This is an opportunity for you to be raw and real and just like put it all out there. Like, how do you feel about this relationship to love? Tell me about. And then at first it was hard for her because she's trying so hard to be something that she's not connected to right now. And I gave her the invitation to just be real about it, right? Sometimes we just need that. And she said, I wasn't really in a loving situation when I was growing up. And, I didn't have all of this support and love. So it's always been a struggle for me. And, she told me a little bit more. And I said, how does that, make you feel? And she went into, well, I wish I could feel. I said, well, how do you really feel? Let's just be like really honest about it. Pissed off, angry, frustrated. I'm pissed that I can't connect to love. I'm angry about that. And I was like, good, give it, like, go, let's go. Like, I really wanted her to just like get in there. And it was amazing because it became so liberating for her, right? The truth. That's where we need to start. We need to start with the truth. And trust me, I've been there 1,000 times trying to be like this or this or this, but this work and my journey has really led me to a place where I really don't do that anymore. And it is so liberating. But we have to start where we are. We have to just be honest with where we are. And so I want to say I still do it sometimes. I'm just, putting that out there. I'm far from perfect. But anyway, so she just really allowed. And I was like, okay. Then we brought in the power of gesture. That's my body set practice, right? The power of gesture, which is an opportunity that we use just our hands. It's an embodiment practice that I'll, thread throughout these wisdom from withins every week. But we use our hands to embody the emotions that we're actually feeling inside. It's almost like our hands become the bridge. And like this way we can get it out. This is a practice where we don't need to get up and do a big dance like frustration or anger or love or joy, whatever the emotion is. We actually just use our hands. And I'll get into that in a little bit as to why that works so well. So maybe I'll tap into that a little bit today. And if you have questions about it, please ask me. So I asked her to embody her frustration and her anger and her feelings with her hands, with the gestures. And, there's no right gesture. It's very personal for you in that moment, whatever it is that you're feeling in that moment. So her frustration gesture was this, and it would go fast and it would start going slow. And I was like, yes. And then like the hands started like doing this, and this was frustration for her. And I was just so celebrating her truth and her honesty. And while she was doing this and her eyes were closed and she was connecting to that, just like feeling, she said, I've never brought it out of my body before. It's always like in here, and then it's just stuck in there. So this is a very accessible tool for you to try. You're feeling something, put it into your hands. Frustration. Is it love? Is it, excitement? Is it enlightenment? Whatever. There's a million gestures. There's a whole vocabulary and that you create with your story and your emotions. So she did this and it was very, very, very beautiful. And so here's the thing. What I highlighted for her, because what I noticed was that, she was in this place of comparison. Then she moved into being very honest and truthful about her relationship to love. Then she moved to how that stuckness and that relationship that she truly has impacts her and the emotions. It was frustration, anger, like annoyance, right? And by giving her that opportunity to be honest, she like released it and she could just calm and start to build that reconnection to love. But it wasn't until she could really allow herself to be real and honest. I hope that makes sense. So I pointed out to her that that's wisdom. Listening, that's wisdom, right? The wisdom from within for her was this anger, frustration, disappointment, all the things. That's all wisdom. And we didn't get to this place of like love and huge connection yet. we're moving in that place. There was release. I can say this in the session that we just had last week. There was release. And I know where we're going. I know she's going to be able to reconnect to love, find love, because she came into this world with a beautiful soul that was able to connect to love. She is going to return there. She's going to get there. I know that. But this was the first step. And what I'm trying to point out is that there's so much wisdom in our rawness. There's so much wisdom in the truth. And if we can pause and allow ourselves to be really raw and honest and lean into those emotions with curiosity, getting to know, why are we so frustrated? Why are we angry? Like, where does that stem from? Now, this work isn't about reliving trauma, but it's about understanding where these emotions and these blocks have come from, so that we can learn, because now we can be the student, because we're old enough to do that. When we had this stuff happen, it was probably when we were a lot younger, and we didn't have the awareness to really look at these emotions with curiosity. But now we can. And it's a choice that we need to make for ourselves, to lean in with that care and that curiosity. And that is wisdom. That is wisdom. That all of those emotions are here to teach you, to teach us what our story is, what the truth is about ourselves. And this space is all about giving permission to do that, to really, really give yourself that gift of honesty and let go of the comparison of what we should be, how we should feel, the relationship to love that we should have, or whatever it is. I mean, we could say the list goes on and on and on. So that's my invitation to you with that first client story. Okay, so I hope that you grabbed something from that and are possibly walking away with okay, let me pause, and I'm going to invite you to this right now. Body set, right? I call this the body set position. Hand on your heart, hand on your belly, and just close your eyes and pay attention to what's going on. Notice what's going on in your body and try not to run from it. Try not to chase a desired feeling. Really be with your body, your voice, your wisdom, and really knowing that it is here to teach you, to inform you, and to help you and to guide you to come return to that pure soul that you were born with. We can all do it. It just takes a level of commitment and patience and switching the I shoulds and all that to more okay, let me listen to you, let me hear you, let me learn, let me know. Okay, so that's the first one. And the second one actually is something that I experienced recently, and I'm going to share this with you. So I'm doing a TEDx talk in a week and a couple days, and I'm super excited. I'm also nervous, and I'm at a place in the talk where I just want to rehearse it and do it for people and practice. And I'm not at this moment, I mean, I was for a long time, but at this moment, I'm not looking for a ton of feedback, right? I'm just looking to practice. But I didn't make that clear to this group that I rehearsed it for recently. And totally fine. I love all these people and I welcome all of it and I don't care, but it's so close that I can't really make that many adjustments at this moment. But so I did the thing, and there was a varied feedback. They all loved it, which was great. That felt really good. And they know me well and gave me some feedback. And it was interesting to have different perspectives and different suggestions. And I was like, wow, but I can handle that. I was like, okay, I took it. I was like, okay, cool. I could totally see that. And they all had really good points, and I could see everyone's perspective, whether they just liked it as it was, and that was great, or like, oh, maybe you could shift this one around, or could, right? So I had a few variations going on. And I knew to just take the information, and I knew that what I would do later is I would try each version, right? The suggestions, and allow my body to tell me what was right. That's the wisdom, right? So to know, that we can guide ourselves, like the wisdom is in there. So trusting that wisdom is like that next big piece. And I trust my body at this point. And it took a while to get here, but I trust my body, and I trust my body knows what is right. So I got off the call, and I reorganized a few different things, and I tried it in different ways. And I knew exactly which version immediately. My body knew. Right? How did I know which version to go with? First of all, it's the original. It's exactly what I planned. And what I love so much is my coach. When you have a really good coach, that also is really helpful. I knew in my body that it had to be the original, but I did want the confirmation. So I ran a couple things by my coach, and what he said was, which one feels the best, right? Which one feels right to you? And he basically was saying, don't shift something out of order if it doesn't feel right. Like if it doesn't feel right, it's not going to execute. We have to buy in and connect to whatever it is that we're doing, whether it's giving advice to our children, whether it's giving a presentation at work, doing a TEDx talk, or writing anything that we're doing. The passion and the feeling has to be there. And you will know in your body what feels right, because it's kind of like Maya Angelou's quote, which I really love, and I might screw this up. I really hope that I don't. But she says, people will always forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. It's something like that. I paraphrase. But people don't really hold on to the information all that much, right? It's really about the feeling that you're giving people in a relationship, in a conversation, in a talk, in a whatever it is, writing, it's all the things. They remember how you made them feel. And so the only way that I'm going to make the audience feel what I want them to feel is if I feel it first. And moving this information around was definitely screwing up my internal flow. And I just knew what was right, because I knew, like, my body just kind of went in flow with this version. So I say that, again, not just for a TED Talk or something like that. It's for anything in your life. And I did my whole body set. I did my body set. I closed my eyes. I actually saw me doing the talk and going through it. And I felt the versions, and I felt which one, and then I did it out loud, and it confirmed. So it's taking the time, it's pausing, it's listening, it's all of those things. And I know that life presents so many challenges and so many narratives, and there's so much pressure. There's so much pressure, whether it's from our parents or in our relationships or even with our children or social media. And at the end of the day, it is so important to pause and slow down. And I'm speaking to all of you that are running 1,000,000 miles a minute, whether you're running businesses or running families or just running your own life, whatever it is, I invite you to slow down and pay attention to how you feel in different situations in your life. Every situation, I know it's impossible to be like all Buddha about it. or like just Zen, I should say, like just totally Zen in our life, right? I mean, yes, that would be the goal, but maybe. But really knowing that the wisdom from within is your greatest guide because it's connected to your truth. And when you can connect to your truth, you show up in the greatest version of you, even when it means being so vulnerable. Like, it's so beautiful to be so vulnerable. It gives people permission. So when you don't know how you feel, or you mess up at a thing, or whatever, just allow yourself to just be, release the control of having an outcome, right? Because that's control. That's like all out here. That's like trying to avoid the problems. And so if we just trust that the timing is right, that our body knows, and we need to pause, and the thing, whatever the outcome is, will happen as a result of the pause, right? The outcome will be better when you pause because you're going to be aligned with your truth. You're going to be in alignment with what feels right for you, even if it goes against what other people think. If you're speaking your truth, it's great. Does all that make sense? Yes. I hope so. And I really hope today unlocked something for you. I hope something resonated for you. I invite you to reach out to me any and all the time. Email me, jen@jenaxe.com. And just tell me what you thought about this session. I've done a few before this, not session, recording, live. That's a better thing to say, live. So yeah, just tell me your thoughts, share your stories with me. Let me know if you're interested in coming onto one of these moments and having a conversation so that other people can have an opportunity to connect to your wisdom from within story. I welcome it. I welcome all of it. We are all in this together, trying to make ourselves better, our children better, our students better, the world better. And I believe that all of that is leadership. All of that influencing ourselves, influencing another human being. It's all leadership. And the most powerful leadership is authentic, embodied, honest. And so that's my invitation to you. I hope to see you next week, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I'll see you soon.